Okay guys, so today we're substituting and evaluating. So sometimes when we're doing algebra, basically what will happen is we're going to give you the values of the variables, okay? So here I've given you two values. So I've said that x equals 4 and p equals 2. And we're going to go through and we're going to do these expressions and we're going to evaluate them and find an answer, okay? So the first step that you need to do when you have when you're substituting, and let's talk about that word substituting for a moment. Okay, so when you substitute something, think about sport. Okay, so you've got your team, they're running around, they're playing, someone gets tired, so you get the substitute, and the substitute comes on for that player. In the case of a teacher, substitute teacher, let's just say I get sick, I'm not at school, and substitute teacher comes in and they do my job for me. Basically, that's what we're doing here. We're taking out the x and we're putting it in with whatever value we've decided to give it. In this instance, x equals 4. So I need to rewrite this firstly before I evaluate it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put these 3 dots there, and those 3 dots mean therefore. I just like writing those 3 dots. And I'm going to write here, rewrite that 3x as 3 times 4, because x equals 4. And then obviously the rest of my expression stays there as well. And now I can evaluate it, okay? So 3 times 4 gives me 12, and I'm still adding 1, and then my answer will be 13, okay? If I jump over here to this question, it says 4p plus p divided by 2, okay? 4p plus p divided by 2. So the first thing that we need to do is we need to rewrite it, and we need to substitute those values in. So let's substitute the values. So 4 times p, well, p equals 2. So 4 times 2 plus p, and p equals 2. And then I draw my vinculum and I put my 2 underneath. Okay, so now I can do the top. I've got to follow order of operations, okay? When we look at a division, okay, and when we look at the top of the vinculum is like a bracket, basically. We always need to do the top before we do the bottom, okay? So if there's anything that we need to take care of up on the top, we do that first, okay? Unless we're doing some other things, but we'll get to them later, okay? But for the moment, if we have things that we can make simpler up top, always do that first, okay? So we need to do multiplication before addition. So let's do the multiplication. 4 times 2 gives me 8, okay? And then I've still got my plus 2 divided by 2. And now let's do the next part. 8 plus 2 gives me 10 divided by 2. And then my final answer, 10 divided by 2, is going to be 5, okay? You'll also notice that I am putting in a line of working every time I perform an operation. So the first thing that I did was I substituted my p, so I can see that. The next thing I did was the multiplication, and you can see the result of the multiplication there, and then everything else is as it was. Then I did the addition to give me this, and then I did the division to give me my final answer, okay? We need to set out our working, so we're showing steps for each line of the problem. So this next one here is a little bit different, and there's a really important thing that's in this expression, and it's right here. There is a number that's right next to our bracket, okay? There's a number that's right next to our bracket, and that number there, we don't use multiplication or division symbols in algebra. That number there means that we're going to multiply whatever's on the inside of these brackets by 2, okay? So let's rewrite it. I'm going to write 2 times bracket x, which is 4, plus 2, which is p, close bracket. Let's do the brackets. 2 times 4 plus 2 is 6, and then 2 times 6 gives me 12, okay? So that's basically it. That's basically substituting and evaluating. There isn't much more to it than that. Just remember what we talked about here with the division, doing the top first, and also what we talked about here when we have a number right next to a bracket and we need to multiply, okay? Good luck with those, and if you've got any questions, please ask.